Oh, now it's into it.
The bird's going. Come back. Thank you. Thank you. Just sparing the little bird.
That's what I wanted to see. I wanted the thing to. I wanted its feet to go like this.
I know, I think you're trying to get it to go, but...
Wow.
I have 6 children.
Blows her out her mind.
That really, yeah.
How old are you?
Hello, my name is Lisa Marks, and welcome to Really Smart People. Tonight's topic is very important for us fellow women out there. Tonight's topic is finding Mr. Right. And what I'd like to do right now is introduce my 3 lovely guests and have them introduce themselves and explain a little bit about who they are. Let's go ahead and start with you.
Hi, my name is Suzette, and I work in a bar. I just love bars, and that's what I'm all about, is bars. Thank you.
Okay, great. Go ahead.
Hi, I don't know exactly what you want. My name is Jane Gifford, and I work on a magazine here in Seattle. It's a fashion-oriented magazine. I do write a little bit of copy. I do a little editing, and I haven't found Mr. Right. I guess I'm actively seeking Mr. Right, and without, a great deal of success right now, pretty much.
Okay, great. And you?
My name is Elizabeth Marquez, and I'm a medical illustrator. And I just think I'm just really tired of hearing people looking for Mr. Right or Ms. Right. I just think it's bullshit, basically, and there's just way too much energy wasted on the whole process. I mean, there's more important things than finding a mate, especially for women,
Okay, great. I feel like I know you all a little better now. Let's just jump right into a question. What I would like you girls to do is give me a description of your own personal Mr. Right. Exactly what would your Mr. Right be like? Let's go ahead and start with you, Suzette.
Okay, my Mr. Right. Well, definitely I'd have to meet my Mr. Right in a bar. Where else would I meet him? I mean, really. Because everything you need is in a bar, and if a man goes to a bar, then I know he's everything I need. He's got to be, not a Rainier beer drinker, but like a Pyramid Ale drinker or something like that. Something a little more exotic, like Pyramid Ale. And he should be, he should look good in Levi's, really tight-fitting Levi's. And he should, just be kind of a rugged guy, a guy that I could just really get into, and is really good at bar conversation, because not all guys are good at bar conversation, and I love bar conversation. So that's what my Mr. Right would have to be like. Oh, dark hair and maybe lighter brown eyes, not dark brown eyes or blue eyes or anything like that,
Okay, great, Suzette. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. And what would your Mr. Right be like?
Actually, I work with a guy at the magazine who I'm not going to say any names because, I don't want him to know who he is, but he's incredibly good looking, okay, and he has incredible bone structure. It's amazing. Extremely broad shoulders, narrow waist, and and hips. He's got really nice small hips, and he's very well dressed, very charming. He's very witty. He doesn't know I'm alive. Well, he sort of does, but anyway, that's beside the point. He drives a newer BMW sedan, and he's just extremely attractive, and he's very smart.
And you work with this man?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, and what would your Mr. Right be like?
I really couldn't answer that question. I'm not really sure.
Even if it's just a hypothetical, you don't believe in Mr. Right at all.
Well, honestly, I don't really know what a Mr. Right is. I think the focus there is on a perfect mate, and I can't. Yeah. I don't think that there is a perfect mate, and I really kind of don't want to.
You could try, couldn't you? To just think,
describe.
Why don't you just describe what you think? Is it man, woman, dog? What
Kevin
is it?
Costner-ish or what is it?
Well, no. I just don't think. I don't think that there is a perfect mate out there for me. I just don't.
Well, what if you could create one? What if you could create one?
Create a perfect mate?
Yeah, just.
Well, you know, I don't know. It's a good friend, somebody who was a good friend.
A good friend. Well, that's good.
Good
That's
friend.
Good luck.
Okay, well, let's go on to the next question. This Mr. Wright, where would you go to find him? Suzette, we probably can assume where you would go, but, you know, go ahead and let us know.
Well, it would be a bar. I mean, where else? I mean, that's where
Yeah.
I work, is in a bar. But, you know, on occasion, you know, I'll be in some other places, like in a darkly lit alley that's lit kind of the same as a bar. And then I look really good in that same kind of lighting. And so then, you know, frequently I'll you know, meet men, you know, in those kind of situations, you know, but I have to be properly lit. Like if I'm in a really bright fluorescent place, I usually don't attract too many men because, you know, with this kind of eyeshadow, they kind of frighten away. You know.
What about
Okay.
What was that? Did you have a question for me?
I was just wondering, you know, like if you met somebody that was attracted to you the way you looked or acted in a bar, what would happen once a relationship was moved outside, say on a, you know, on a nice day or something?
What do you mean on it?
I mean, you know, like
would go outside.
Like maybe you both of you were walking to the car or something.
Jeez,
maybe
you know,
you're-
I've never thought of that. I've never had a date that wasn't where we went outside or anything like that. I hadn't really thought that far ahead, but you know, I guess I was just gonna have to take it as it rolled. You know, maybe I'd have to change my makeup for that kind of lighting. I'd have to get used to that, you know, something like that. Maybe get more of a natural look. You know.
Okay. And, well, where would you go? Would you look in your own workplace to find Mr. Wright?
Well, I mean, I want, you know, I guess I want to make it clear that I am, I'm always keeping my eyes open, of course, but right now I just feel like I'm just a little too fat right now. If I can lose 15 pounds, if I lose about 15 pounds, I just feel fat. And so I just don't feel like this is the time where I just want to, you know, like look for someone. There is somebody at work, this guy, I won't say his name either. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Mr. High Cheekbones?
No, it's a different guy. He calls me a lot. And, you know, we've gone out a couple of times. And, but I guess, I suppose that's, you know, where I would, you know, do my looking. You know, aside from that,
Don't you think you should try to tell this guy that Mr. High Cheekbones that you won't give us his
Well,
name? Don't you think you should tell him that you like him?
Not right now, no.
Why do you feel that way? Is
Oh,
it
just-
this weight thing
I just,
that
yeah,
you're...
it's been a lot of it is that. I just kind of just feel like I want to join a gym. And matter of fact, the guy that I've gone out with a couple times, we met after Jenny Craig. We ran into each other, Jenny Craig, and we went out and got something to eat after that. But he calls me. It doesn't click. He's not what I'm looking for.
Does he know this? Are you his Mrs. Wright, and that's why he's trying to?
Very well may be. He says that he likes me, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. He wants to like go out and talk and do, you know, stuff like that, and I don't know. He's not my Mr. Right. Maybe I'm what he's. I don't know.
So basically, right now, you're Mr. Right's a big fantasy, then.
Well, you know, to give you an example, like we'll go out after work together, and you know, I'll be sitting next to this guy that I'm so attracted to, and you know, we'll go be having pizza, and he'll talk to me about other women, and you know, kind of pat me on the back, sometimes kind of slap me on the back.
Treat you like a sister, huh?
Sort of like, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's
I've
not
seen
totally
that.
aware.
Why is this guy so attractive to you? I mean, why?
He's gorgeous. He's gorgeous.
How is his
He's
personality? What is there something about his personality that you really like? That
He's real funny. He's real witty. He's real sharp. And he's one of the salesmen. He sells the advertising, and he smells so good. He just dresses great.
so smell is kind of important here.
It
Then
has a
yes.
lot to do. He wears that gray flannel, which is a cologne I happen to like a lot.
Okay.
And,
There's nothing worse than a guy who smells bad. Whew.
Little tip there for the men watching. Okay. Well, okay, so let's say that you found this Mr. Right who's in a bar. And what would you do to get his attention, to make him, you know, really notice you?
I might walk by him and, like, you know, rub my chest against him or something, and you know, or I might try to spark up some kind of, you know, some kind of conversation about something like sports or something like that he's probably interested in. You know, like,
Okay, sports.
you know, talk about the Seahawks or something
Yeah.
like that. You know, that would be, you know, or if he's drinking a beer, I might talk about the country the beer's from or something like that. You know,
Right.
just kind of
Get the
know,
conversation
yeah,
going.
Get the conversation
and-
rolling somehow. Yeah. Basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this would be a good question for you. What, you know, maybe we can help you out. What do you think you should do to try and let this guy at work know that he's your Mr. Right?
Well, we don't, you know, have a lot in common. He sails on the weekend. I have a fear of water, and he's very athletic, and you know, I swim a little. I've been taking swimming lessons, but I'm not. You know, I'm getting over this fear thing, and so I'm not like into like competitive sports, and I've got, you know, and you know, I read a lot, and he doesn't. As far as I can tell, I've asked him about, you know, did you?
Can I
did you read
interrupt
this
for
novel?
just a
Yeah.
moment? It doesn't sound like you're in any way compatible. It sounds like he represents an ideal for you that, and somehow it's probably an unavailable ideal. I mean, it's probably unrealistic. Maybe he's something like your father who never really gave you what you needed as a child.
Yeah.
Well,
Or not, or something not at all like that. I mean,
yeah, I've thought that before. I've thought about, you know, I don't think I haven't thought that, because I have thought that, but I don't think that applies to me.
So your Mr. Right is kind of your opposite then, in a way.
Complete and total opposite, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
Complete and absolute end of the, you know, opposite polar ends.
Now-
yeah,
now what
complete
happens
and
if-
absolutely the inverse of what I am. Absolutely the.
so what would you do? I mean, what would you talk about? I mean,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
what if he said you fell in love and then you got married and then you went
We
on a
both
great
like
honeymoon and then-
movies.
But it's dark. If he's good looking, what's the purpose of going to a movie with him? I mean,
That is something we have in common. We both like.
But I mean, like 5 or 10 years down the line, what do you think? What would you be? How would a day go for you? I mean, would you get up in the morning and then he'd
Well,
smell
I don't know.
good?
I don't. You know, I don't really. I'm not thinking that far ahead. Not thinking that far ahead.
I don't mean to rush you or anything. I was just.
Well, you know, I mean, everybody can have their, you know, their ideal, can't they? I mean, everybody can have their ideal man, can't they? I mean,
You
and
don't
what's
really
to say
have to
that I
get along
couldn't
with
be
them.
what? What's to say that I couldn't become, you know, what you know? He dates this woman at work. You know, he goes out every once in a while with this woman at work, and she's one of our staff models. She does, you know, a lot of modeling on the staff and junk. But she, you know, I'm as smart as she is. So I could, you know, who's to say? Maybe I could, you know, sort of become, you know, more like what he would like me to be.
So plastic surgery, that kind of thing. Would that? I mean, you know, I just think this is a pipe dream. I don't think that you'll ever find a relationship that is really meaningful to you as long as you're attracted to something so unrealistic.
So that was your whole point in the beginning, that really Mr. Right doesn't really exist for anyone.
Well, I don't know if it doesn't exist for anyone. I just think that there's, you know, I mean, you probably spend a great deal of time just thinking about this guy and hoping you look all right and feeling
I'm not
miserable.
obsessed with this man.
ooh,
I'm not
Okay.
obsessed with this man. I'm just very attracted to him. Very attracted.
you gotta let the cat out of the bag sometime. I mean, you know,
Got to have the cat out of the bag.
she's got to tell him that she
Oh, I
likes him.
see. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, he probably knows in his own way, and if he sees this, he might figure it out. I don't know. No.
Okay, well, we're talking about being attracted to this Mr. Right. I have a question here. Suzette, we'll start with you again, because I'm kind of interested in your answer here. What kind of underwear would your Mr. Right wear? Would it be boxers or a G-string or briefs? I mean,
I think my Mr. Right would just not wear any underwear at all. Just, you know, just free, just letting it all just there, you know? Just, you know, fertile, virile.
that is so true to your personality.
Well, you know, I try to be true to myself as much as I can.
Okay. Do you
Ralph
know what
Lauren.
your Mr. Right wears?
Ralph
Do
Lauren
you?
boxers.
Oh.
Ralph Lauren boxer. You know,
You're really into the
line
whole
of- yeah,
designer
designer.
thing, aren't you? Gray
Well,
flannel.
not really so much. Really?
Well, you said Ralph Lauren. I mean, come on. Those have got to be the most expensive boxers on the market. Oh, well.
Anyway, that's what I would imagine he would wear.
You just imagine this.
That's what I would imagine he would wear.
Okay, and
Would he be riding
does-
a white horse?
Not necessarily.
Maybe a
Thank
Liz
you.
Claiborne horse or something?
Not necessarily. Thank you.
Does this question pertain to you in any way? Do you date men? Do you date anyone?
Yeah, it's sure, you know, here and there, what have you. Sure.
What does here and there mean?
Well, you know, I'm kind of seeing somebody now. And
How long have you been seeing this man?
about 4 months, I guess. 4.5 months.
Has it gone past the part of being friends, or?
I don't know. I think that friend thing is probably going to be continual in the relationship. You know what I mean? I mean, it's romantic. It's just not, you know.
Passionate.
No, it's passionate. I mean, you know, there's a passion.
So you're saying you can be
Yes.
friends and have passion at the same time?
Yeah, I think you can.
And
I
so,
do.
Really?
so you like to be open. So if someone else comes along and you really like him, that you could date him too.
I don't think I would be interested in seeing anybody else right now. I don't really think I have time for that, and I don't really think I want my life to become any more complicated. As far as the underwear thing goes, I like really shiny underwear.
Okay, so
You can
you're
see yourself sometimes in the reflection of shiny
getting more
underwear.
into the fabric of the.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I have another question here. Should Mr. Right cry? Should he cry
At movies.
at
You
movies?
bet.
And otherwise, I mean, he shouldn't just cry at movies. Shouldn't he cry when he feels like crying? It's not like a big cliche that we're supposed to be
I'm
supportive now.
uncomfortable. I'm personally uncomfortable with it.
I wouldn't even want a guy to cry at a movie. I mean, you know, maybe, you know, if the Mariners won like a world championship, maybe that kind of cry, tears of joy. But you know,
He could
Tears
cry
of
at our
joy.
wedding. He could cry at our wedding. That would be.
At what point in your wedding would it be okay for him to cry? Like as he's speaking, with like a blubbering thing?
Well, not like afterwards when he's by himself, but you know,
And to show his feelings,
Yeah.
to show you like men to show their emotions.
not not a lot,
Yeah.
but at the appropriate time.
Okay, so you're saying that you're Mr. Right at work, so that this man would react this way. He would.
But I don't like him to be like losing control.
Okay,
you know?
there's a
I don't
control
like.
thing.
Yeah, I don't want him to lose control because that's creepy.
Okay, little tips there for the
Maybe
man
that's just
again.
me.
It's creepy. Okay.
Creepy to lose control.
Yeah.
Creepy,
Okay.
creepy.
Well, we've been talking about Mr. Right and what Mr. Right is like. Let me ask you, what would a man do to immediately become a Mr. Wrong? What could he do for you to say, oh, this man is not a Mr. Right, he is definitely a Mr. Wrong?
pull my finger. I think that is, to me, the grossest thing in the world. You know, guys who are just childish and immature. You know, I used to go out with younger guys, but no, you know, and you know, if they can't pour a beer right, if they get too much foam on it, there's just all kinds of little things. You know, guys that have, you know, they when they talk, maybe they spit little things. You know, that kind of thing. That just, you know, all that, you know, or they hog all of the pretzels, or, you know.
Yeah, that's a bit hogging the pretzels. Yeah, that could get into like hogging the covers, and later on it just really escalate.
Hogging the kids.
Selfishness.
Selfishness.
Yeah,
Like if they ask you your bra size first thing, that really pisses me off, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, that's so tacky, you know, you can tell.
You can tell.
Does that happen a lot? Do you find Mr. Wrong a lot in the places that you go?
Oh, sure, there's a lot more Mr. Wrongs than there is Mr. Rights, but you know, in every bar, there's at least two guys who are, you know, worth talking to, looking into. And I usually find one a night, so, you know, that's pretty good odds, I think. Who says there's only one Mr. Right?
Yeah. You don't think that there's only one Mr. Right for every woman?
I think there's one Mr. Right on a daily basis.
So really, Mr. Right is a state of mind. It's Mr. Right now for you, really.
Okay, Mr. Right Now. I think that would be I like that, Mr. Right Now. I like that a lot. Yeah, sometimes though you forget guys, and so like, you know, later on in the year you'll actually have a same guy that you had on a different day.
Do you recognize this right in the beginning, or does it take a while and then you say, oh yeah, I remember you?
Yeah, usually, you know, when they take off their shirt or something like that, I'll go, oh yeah, I remember you now. You know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm making you uncomfortable, but you know.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Okay, well, so,
Is there anything else you wanted to?
Well, what was it? I'd like to hear what Jane.
Yeah. What
Has
was
to say about it.
I'm lost. What was the?
What?
Oh, what could he do to be
Yeah.
Mr. Wrong? Oh,
Not be the guy.
panic, fall apart, just fall apart.
fall apart.
Yeah,
there's
you
that
know, just fall apart.
losing control thing
Yeah.
almost again.
Yeah. I don't like pear-shaped men either.
Pear-shaped man.
Yeah,
Okay,
don't care for that.
okay. Great, pear-shaped men. Okay, well,
I pretty much like the V shape.
The V shape.
Yeah, I'm really,
Okay.
that V, that nice.
It's more of a triangle. It's
Yeah.
more of an open-ended
Sort of a
triangle.
mannequin kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that.
so you're saying the physical
Triangle, I guess,
appearance
yeah,
is
triangle.
very important then?
Was that the physical? Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't think so, but I.
It sounds
guess,
like it
yeah.
is to you with all the Ralph Lauren.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, I don't know. I guess I see a lot of that at work,
Yeah.
and
So you could basically do a little cutting and pasting and just cut pictures out of a magazine and sort of carry them around with you then, couldn't you?
yeah, but those don't keep you warm at night, you know.
Boy,
Maybe if you light 'em on
poignant and
fire.
true.
Well, what do you do to make yourself a Mrs. Right? Because you know we're sitting here talking about finding Mr. Right. What would you do to make yourself a Mrs. Right?
Lose 15 pounds.
I would lose 15 to 25 pounds.
Can I-
And
can I-
first off, well,
Go
can
ahead, yeah.
I would go on a firming and toning. I would get a personal trainer. I would go on a firming and toning. I would get on a regimen. I would get on a skin regimen, and I've done a couple of them. But I would probably invest in the Lancome skin regimen. I would. A friend of mine suggested I take a class in woodworking because there are a lot of men that do that.
Yes.
Might
So
do that.
You could meet a man even in a class like that, in a woodworking class.
Right.
You could actually meet
I
a
could do
Mr.
something.
Right in a woodworking class.
Exactly.
Great. Okay.
Wow. So doesn't that question imply that you have to change yourself to make yourself attractive to a man, so then a man will like you and then in some way you'll feel worthy of existing? Isn't that kind of what that means? Am I being over dramatic a little bit?
I don't think that applies to me, but
Yeah, because
that
she isn't
applies to
even
me.
starting her regime yet. She's saying that that's what she would do when she's ready to
yeah,
find
That's
Mr.
crazy. I
She's
mean,
got
why-
herself locked in a closet though until she starts that regime.
And well, why wouldn't you? Why don't you just find
It's
somebody?
not a closet. It's a large studio apartment.
Oh, I'm
large
sorry.
with a view.
I'm sorry.
Well, my point is, why wouldn't you just want somebody like that guy that you went out with a couple of times? I mean, if
Yeah.
a relationship is so important to you, why don't you choose somebody who accepts you the way you are?
Yeah, he sounds like he really, really likes you.
Well, I think he does, but that doesn't mean that I, necessarily like him. He wants to go out for coffee and talk. I mean, that's not necessarily my idea of a good time. That's what he wants to do, and so.
So what is your idea of a good time then?
Dinner, I wouldn't get to eat much of it, but dinner at a nice place, maybe with some friends, witty friends.
Doing sit-ups maybe in between
Not
courses?
necessarily. Of course, I would watch it. We know what I ate. We could dance. Dinner with friends, witty, charming friends, something like that. Raise.
So that would be the perfect thing if your Mr. Right came up to you and said, I would really like to take you out to dinner to raise. That would be the perfect scenario for you.
I'd be darn nice. I'd like that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Suzette, what would a man do that would really make you happy? Where would he ask you out to go, like on a first date? Of course, you've already met in the bar and everything. But is there another place he could take you?
Well, usually, I find that if a guy asks me over to his apartment, I always like that. You can always tell a lot about a man by the way he keeps his apartment. For instance, the kind of magazines he reads. Are they Road and Track? Are they Playboy? What is it he reads, Yeah, because what I read magazines all the time, and I love magazines, and I can tell a lot about a man and the kind of furniture he has. I mean, are there briefs shoved in the cushion? Is there stains on the carpet? Has the bathtub never been cleaned since you moved in? I mean,
Do you
there's a
meet
lot
these kind of men a lot? I mean, do you go over to their place and say, okay, their place just isn't right, I'm leaving? Or do you just stay and think maybe?
Well, it depends on, is he cooking me dinner? Because if he's cooking me dinner, then I stay.
Okay.
Because I figure, maybe there'll be something in the conversation we have over dinner, or,
Have you ever
something.
had a long-term relationship by any chance?
I think that's
Yeah.
awfully personal.
Oh. Well, I mean, okay, have you ever slept with somebody for a long period of time?
Without
Over-
sleeping with other people at the same time.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I had a couple of long-term relationships,
How long is long term for you, Suzette?
Well, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I think that's a... Well, you can get to know a person in 6 to 8 weeks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why that's too personal for you to for somebody to ask you, but it's okay that you try and psychoanalyze me. I would like to know that. Why is that too personal? But
Hey, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you, okay? I'm just trying to ask you a couple of questions. Okay?
Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's put our hands up. We're surrendering. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Wow.
We have
Excuse me.
a little difference of opinion here.
That's good, though, isn't it?
Difference of opinion?
Yeah, do you think
I'd say in this situation it is.
So none of you women have ever been married before.
I was married for 16 years.
Okay.
You were married for 16
Wow.
years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And was he your Mr. Right at the time?
Well, at the time, I felt that he was. Yeah, I really felt he was obviously very important to me, and I really thought that he was the person I wanted to spend the rest of my life with.
So what busted it
Turned out
up?
it was. It was a kind of a combination of circumstances, really. He died in a really fiery plane crash. That's funny.
Sorry.
That's okay.
God, I'm
But if
so
it hadn't have been the
sorry.
plane crash, it could have been anything, really. Oh, it's okay. It's been months. It's really all right.
Wow.
Months? You said you've been dating this new friend of yours for 4 months. I mean,
Well, seeing each other, it's not anything serious.
so were you dating this other person during your marriage?
No, he's a friend from work.
Wow.
I
Whoa.
think that sheds new light on you, doesn't it? Just
Guy, I
picked
kind
over
of
there
don't
in
blame
the
you for
corner.
not wanting to just jump right into something.
Well, my whole point isn't, it has nothing to do with
Whoa.
history. It's that you don't have to have a relationship to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. It's a basic understanding there.
I think we've hit on a little bit of sisterhood.
I'm embarrassed.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm a little embarrassed. This is uncomfortable for me. Obviously, it's very personal.
It's painful.
It's okay. Yes. Yeah. I'm
Sometimes
so
when things are
sorry.
painful, we laugh.
be.
I was not informed.
I would like to. Obviously, I didn't realize it was still a great source of pain for me, and it's good for me to release.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Release.
Why don't you release it really
Right.
big, Scream or something. Or,
Yeah. Go right ahead. We're with you. We're all women.
That's
Go
right.
right ahead.
That's
Give
not
us a
really
scream.
enough.
Let
Being
it
with
out.
Other women, people who share the same genitalia, isn't enough necessarily to make me want to be emotionally intimate with them.
I want it to be known right now I've never shared genitalia with any of these women. I'm not a lesbian. I'm
No,
a
none of us
heterosexual
women are
woman.
lesbians. That's why we're talking about men on our show.
Otherwise, we'd be talking about finding Mrs. Right, then, wouldn't we?
I'd be Ms. Right.
Oh, excuse me, Ms. Right.
Well, anyway, the point I was trying to make is that you don't have to have a relationship to make you happy. I mean, you're happy outside of a relationship, you're happy in one,
Wait a
unhappy
minute.
outside of one.
How long has it been since you
Why-
haven't had a relationship?
Sounds
Well,
like
I
you've
don't- I
always
don't
been in a
feel-
relationship.
Yeah, really. How do you know
no.
what it's even like on the
Gosh,
outside?
it was years before the marriage when I, was single for a
Yeah,
very
but that's
long
like,
time.
But
17
what were you
years
in your
ago.
high school years? I mean,
Say
junior high?
say again?
What were you, junior high age then? or-
No. We married when I was 26. But, and until then.
And you've been married for 16 years.
Yeah.
Maybe she uses Lancome.
Yeah.
that's good. You look good.
Yeah, you look
Well, I
good.
drink a lot of water.
You look good. You look good.
So anyway, my point is that, honestly, I really feel, besides my history, I really, really feel that you don't need a relationship to make you happy. And I think that we could be the forefront of a generation of women that have an identity outside of a relationship.
Maybe you could.
Well, I think we all could do that. And learn to take care of ourselves.